Welcome to our second bite-sized video, where we aim to provide you with a brief overview of Part 3 of the Health and Care Staff in Scotland Act 2019. This video will be focusing on arranging staff and the responsibility on providers, which is applicable to all daycare of children's services registered with the Care Inspectorate. This is the first legislation in the UK to set out requirements for both health and care services in relation to staffing. Enacted in April 2024, it affects legislation that guides the requirements of the services you currently provide. The Act links together supporting documents and guidance already in use and has now been put into legislation. The previous legislation that covered staffing was Regulation 15 of the Scottish Statutory Instruments. It was a small paragraph in the instruments which detailed how providers must have regard to the size and nature of their care service when arranging their staffing, and to ensure that they are at all times suitably qualified persons working in their service. The asks of Regulation 15 are all still present in the Act. They just go into a bit more detail as there is a focus on the recognition that we all know and appreciate that high quality staff provide high quality service. Part 3 starts at Section 7 within legislation, which is the duty on care service providers to ensure appropriate staffing. This means providers must ensure that there are suitably qualified and competent staff working in their services in numbers that are appropriate for the health and well-being of children, and to ensure the provision of safe and high-quality care. The new legislation does not impose different staffing levels, and the minimum ratios given to services at point of registration or variation will remain the same. These ratios are a minimum standard, and services still need to consider how they arrange their staffing whilst fully considering children's individual needs. Section 7, Part 2 of the Act details how you should determine what constitutes appropriate staffing levels. By considering the nature of the care service, the kind of service you provide, the size of the care service, the aims and objectives you're working towards, the number of children experiencing care, and the needs of these children. Appropriate staffing is having the right people with the right skills available at the right place at the right time to meet children's needs. On this slide, you can see 3 reflective questions which you could consider. Respectful challenge and questioning of any strategies or processes in place to ultimately encourage reflective practice and support continuous improvement. Still within Part 3 of the Act, Section 8 is about staff training. The Act states that providers must ensure staff working in your services receive appropriate training for the work they are being asked to undertake, and receive suitable assistance for the purpose of obtaining further qualifications appropriate to their work. Now, the important element here is qualifications important to their work. This is already in legislation we are working with at the moment and refers to ensuring staff receive appropriate training in order to achieve guiding principles of the Act, of being able to provide safe and high quality care and ensure the best outcomes for children. Here are 3 reflective questions for Section 8 which you could consider with regards to staff training. To fulfill previous legislation, providers were already asked during inspections about induction plans, supervisions, and appraisal systems in order to assess, monitor, and plan appropriate training needs for their staff. This all links to the Health and Care Staff in Scotland Act 2019, where it states that staff are to receive appropriate training for the work they are to perform and being assisted to ensure their professional learning is up to date. This slide demonstrates the similarities between Regulation 15 and the Health and Care Staff in Scotland Act 2019, with wording from Regulation 15 on the left-hand side of the table and wording from the Act on the right-hand side. The only addition can be seen at the bottom of the slide, the well-being of staff. Part 3 relates to how staff well-being will affect the main purposes of the Act and providing a safe and high-quality service and ensuring the best outcomes for children. A few examples may be: do staff feel safe to raise issues without fear of retribution? And is there a culture of service improvement and not blaming individuals? Considering staff views about the number of staff needed for the children they are currently caring for, and their ability to cope and support these children's individual needs. Providers should consider how they support staff to feel confident in their roles and responsibilities they are to carry out. Are staff included in reviewing risk assessments, policies and procedures in order for them to achieve the improved outcomes for children? More information about staff well-being can be found in the first bite-sized video where we discuss Part 1 of the Act. Please explore the ELC Safe Staffing Hub page for additional resources and support. You'll find another bite-sized video covering Part 1 of the Act, and you'll find a variety of related guidance documents that is linked to the Health and Care Staffing Act 2019. For more in-depth presentation and information, you can watch the 2 webinars which was recorded in January 2024, and you can follow along with the accompanying presentation slides. Thank you for watching this bite-sized video on Part 3. I hope you find it helpful in becoming aware of this legislation.